Hello there, my name is Rachel. The first time you see my channel, you review cartoon series, anime series, or something completely random. And today we talk about a movie called Chico's Journey. And this film shoot came out back in 2020, but because the thing we can't talk about, the thing that kind of closed all theaters, this movie got sort of delayed for several months. So they decided to sell it to Netflix so they can distribute it all around the world. Besides that little fun fact, now the question is, this movie, is it good? I have to say, yes and no. It has its problems. It's one of those sort of kind of cliche phrases that it doesn't have the Disney money. What I mean that is, it has a lot of moments that, yeah, you needed to work a little bit more the background. The CGI is really bad right here. They should create the different design. The camera should be a little bit to the left. You get the idea. The little rough patches here, there, you should fix. But once more, has a limited budget, and you can really tell. But even that being said, the movie is not that bad. Actually, it's pretty good. It's not amazing. It's one of those I have to describe as sort of a movie streaming service type of film. The movie itself is basically about the same. The town not thinking about this huge business corporation who wants the not the village, the mountain itself, because it actually has gold in there, but they trying to do sort of fragging. So yeah, this is basically a sort of save the forest sort of political story, by explaining what is fragging, like understanding what fragging does, and kind of pollutes everything about nature. This basically the whole movie is one sided of the political spectrum. But once more, they just did that as sort of the story to understand the scenario they actually are and the decisions they have to do to stop this evil organization to destroying the mountain. Be fair, fragging is sort of complicated to be explained. That's why I said this sort of one-sided, but it's not the main focus. The focus is about Chico understanding what this dog really is, who used to be. But if only focus on her owner called Kobe, she's basically the sort of the last warrior of the last person who protect the mountain, that she had to basically sacrifice herself to protect the town. I know I'm making this a little bit complicated, but you get the idea. But Kobe doesn't realize what actually is the mountain like the rest of the villagers. Their elders know what's actually going on, and the elders trying to sort of understand the mayor of the town, explaining this is a bad idea, you're pissed off the gods, maybe you shouldn't do that. They try to convince them to stop doing fragging, because it's sort of dangerous from the town, because the town can actually die out because this sort of digging out the mountain with very experimental explosions. And you can see why the elders are kind of afraid of that. But because the mayor is sort of kind of not the smartest person around, and he sort of said yes to fragging, now they have to figure out how to stop it. But in between the middle of this, you have Kobe who's sort of sad because he doesn't really know what happened to her mom. She sort of disappeared, and she doesn't understand because her grandmother is sort of protecting her from the truth, because it's sort of her turn to protect the forest, or the mountain in this case. And that's why she's sort of kind of protecting and lying to her mom. She's somewhere, don't worry about it. But because Kobe is super curious in trying to understand and tired of being sort of lied to, she followed her grandmother and what her daily duties is to understand what she does every single day, and realize, yeah, her mother's still alive, and she runs straight to the mountains with her dog Chico. This time, she doesn't realize she's basically doing her destiny, that forcing Chico to realize who he is to save the mountain, and everything sort of connects after that. That's a simple story of the movie, but I have to admit it's sort of interesting because they actually layer one very special thing. It's sort of the Azteca lore of the gods, especially the dog, who he is and what he's supposed to do. He's basically the Grim Reaper from the people, who helps them to find the other way. But once more, he is the descendant, in other words, and he doesn't really like that. He doesn't know he's magical. He's just a normal dairy dog. Till this great journey comes to him. And that's what the story is. Chico's journey is about him as his owner understanding the magical of the mountain and why the mountain is so important to the town folks. And that's basically the whole story. but I feel it's sort of interesting. They try not to explain the other sides. It's just evil organization or evil businessman, because the business people who are trying to frag the mountain are not that sympathetic or anything. They're sort of a more cartoon because they just over exaggerate. They just greedy, evil. You never really understand why they doing it just because of money. Of course, that's a legitimately good reason why they doing things, but you never get this sort of understanding of them. Sometimes this is the reason why other films who do sort of nature animated films, they don't really show the owners or the business people. They just this silent blank business organization and just take or build or destroy stuff. To me, that's more scary than actually showing them who they are, because in truth, business people, you don't really know who they are. You just know the company, and the company is sort of scary because it doesn't have a face. And I wish they did it in this film, but they decided to not do it because they thought it'd be more funny to see the evil villain to be kind of wacky and strange. And I feel that sort of get the movie a little bit weaker because it's kind of get invested if the whole story trying to be serious, but the villains are just wacky. It's sort of unbalanced film sometimes. But I have to admit, they do put it off at the very end because dialogue. Because the dialogue, it's sort of well handled, like 80% of the time. I like to say, if you see the film, you agree or disagree with me, because the writing is interesting because how they say sort of phrases or words to themselves, or how the conversation feels sort of real. Especially how the three elders who supposed to protect the whole town in the mountain, how they talk feels years they have knowing each other. That sort of conversation or sort of things they say to themselves, like, wow, that's actually well written. But you have other times some of the dialogue feels sort of off. He's like, yeah, I don't think the best way to say that sort of phrasing or sort of words. But once more, I feel they make it work because they were sort of committing of the seriousness in the scenario they really is, because they do allow characters sort of get stabbed or killed or even cuss. Yes, this film does cuss, but it won't cuss me to words. But once more, it's something that is sort of glazed and say fast and quick just to move the film to not shock you in other words. But besides that, the film is good because of that. Now, anything bad besides the writing and the animation, well, that's it. I mean, I can't really say anything else is bad. But I think this film has a lot of heart. They really do give 100% of the time. But of course, that's just my opinion. I mean, you watched the film. Tell me down below. You think the film was good or eh? I mean, I feel it was justified just watching in a streaming film. Besides that, it's sort of worth watching because of that. If you have Netflix, you can watch it. I mean, you do get entertained. You have little moments. I feel they had too much exposition in some places. Besides that, it's still, I kind of recommend it. If you have nothing else to do, just watch it. If you do have something to do or you have something better to watch, I think put this on your list. When you feel you get a little bit bored, watch it. You probably have some enjoyment out of it. Besides that, I really got nothing else to say. Just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.